Hey crafty friends, today we're mixing cozy charm with a little disco glam, and I'm so excited about this project. I'm transforming shimmering disco balls into the cutest cherry embellishments to create a card that's rustic, playful, sparkly, and full of personality. It's the perfect blend of sweet and shine, so grab your supplies and let's craft together. For our card base, I'm using the scrapbook.com mixed media paper pad along with the Mom's Kitchen paper collection from Echo Park. This collection has sweet kitchen themed designs that feel nostalgic, playful, and perfectly kitschy. I chose a red solid and a classic red gingham pattern and trimmed them down just a little bit so that one could fit on top of the other for my A2 size card. First, I'm going to adhere the red solid panel to my card base using double-sided tape, and then I layer the red gingham right on top. The gingham pattern instantly gives us those warm, cozy country vibes. Now for the star of the show, our disco ball cherries. So instead of traditional cherry shapes, I decided to take a creative detour and use a disco ball die set as the cherry base. The die includes a detailed disco texture layer and a coordinating solid backing die. To create that disco ball effect, I'm die cutting the textured layer from red mirror cardstock that I had on hand. And once the layers are glued together for our cherries, the reflective finish gives beautiful shine and dimension. For the stems and leaves, I'm mixing and matching dyes from my stash. So don't be afraid to cross-utilize your supplies. It's a really great way to stretch your collection creatively. So I cut the stems and leaves from a fresh spring green colored sheet in the scrapbook.com festive duo paper pad. Next, I die cut a sweet bow from the scrapbook.com bow topper die set using a rosy pink sheet from that same paper pad, the festive duo. This adds a charming detail right at the top of our cherries. Before assembling everything, I created a rustic frame using a wood grain paper from the Whispering Way collection I had. I used a decorative doily style frame die because I really wanted the outline of a doily, but I'm going to save the actual doily that was cut from this die for another project, but feel free to use whatever decorative frame dies you have on hand. For the sentiment, I die cut You're So Sweet from the scrapbook.com Hello Sunshine die set. I layered the glossy red and white cardstock to give it a bold dimensional look that stands out against the background and feeds nicely back into the red from the cherries. So I go ahead and overlap my cherries and glue them together, adding a little bit of glue underneath the top cherry to keep everything secure, and then glue the stem and leaves right over top of that. Next, I'll glue the bow right where the stems meet for a polished finishing touch. And to build dimension, I'm adding a 1/4 inch wide foam tape, 2 millimeters thick, around the entire back of the wood grain frame. And this lifts the frame and creates a subtle shadow box effect. Then I'm adding 1 inch foam squares, also 2 millimeters thick, to the back side of the cherries and centering them inside the frame so they stand out as the focal point. The sentiment gets adhered to the bottom right corner using liquid adhesive to balance the design. I opted for liquid adhesive because I felt like there was enough dimension going on and I didn't need to add a third layer of dimension. I'm adding a red gem to the center of the bow for additional sparkle, and then placing a few warm topaz gems around the corners of the card for balance and shine. And here's our finished card. I love how it turned out. It's a fun and unexpected way to repurpose disco-themed dies and turn them into something new and sweet. I hope you enjoyed crafting with me today. If you did, please don't forget to give this video a like and consider subscribing for more creative inspiration. Until next time, bye friends.